With the Celtics losing rotation players Xavier Tillman and Oshae Brissett, and as well as Kristaps Porziņģis may not be playing till the middle of the season, we see that the Celtics have a role to be filled at the 10th man spot. Today, I'm going to show you guys 3 players that I think are going to need to step up or that could step up into that role and get increased minutes this season. This is another episode of Celtics Digest. I'm your host, Godfrey Sympre. Thank you guys for all the support you guys have been giving us recently. Me and Bruce are super thankful for you guys. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Today I'm going to be talking about who will be the 10th man for our Celtics team. There was a great article that came out by Chris Forsberg talking about a couple of players that could step up, and I thought I took the 3 best players that I think are going to step up into this role. This season, we have a lot of different things that are really going to be impacting us at the beginning of the season. We lost a couple of rotation players in Xavier Tillman and Oshae Brissett. Kristaps, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks to the beginning of the season. Al Horford's getting a year older. JT might need some rest at the beginning of the season. So now we're going to be seeing a couple of players that, didn't get a lot of playing time last year, might bring themselves into the fold. And the first player I think it's going to be is none other than Xavier Tillman. Now, Xavier Tillman was a big man that got picked up in the middle of the season, did a lot of great things after the trade deadline, but in the playoffs, that's when he really showed off his best work. You see, he did a lot of key things. He even made a 3 in the finals against the Dallas Mavericks, and showing that Joe Mazzulla really trusted him in the playoffs to play those big minutes. Xavier Tillman, a great defender. Honestly, if he played more, he would be in that conversation with the best defenders in the league, in my opinion. He guards the pick and roll. He's able to switch on to big men, and I definitely could see him playing a lot of minutes coming into next season. Now, we're going to look at his stats from last year. He didn't play a lot, obviously, because he was log jammed down the rotation. But last year, he averaged 5.3 points, 3.9 rebounds, 1 assist, almost a block and a steal per game. Now, he did average a foul per game and not a lot of minutes, so that is worrisome, and he did shoot 25% from 3. I definitely think this season he has to improve his jump shot in order to get those minutes, but I definitely see him as someone that could definitely play. Now, he's still very young, only 25 years old. He played for the Memphis Grizzlies before he got traded to the Celtics, and he had a quite bit of potential coming in, and I definitely saw him as one of those players that could make a great impact. If he can improve the 3-point shot, everyone is going to be talking about him. He could be a player that a lot of people talk about in a great way coming into this season. All that he needs to do is, just get a little bit of a corner 3. Maybe if he could just shoot 1 for 3 a game, or, just shoot around 33%, I definitely see him getting that 10th man spot and playing a lot of minutes when the season begins. Now, the second player I wanted to talk about today is not Xavier Tillman, but Neemi. I don't know why it's not coming up, but Neemi. Neemi is the person I want to talk about because he is a very athletic big man who did secure a main contract this season that he's going to be upgraded to a guaranteed contract with the Celtics, so he's going to be on the main roster. I definitely think he's a player that could show out for us, and honestly, 7-foot big man, he was able to patch up those big man minutes last season, so I definitely think he's going to be one of the first options. Xavier Tillman, one of the smaller players, 6'8", he definitely is a switch forward that could play the 3-4, maybe some small ball 5, but Neemi, he definitely could play the 5 in moments that, at the beginning of the season, we don't have Kristaps. I definitely think he could patch up that role. Very athletic big man, can make a lot of the good solid moves in the paint. I definitely think he still has a lot of potential to show. He hasn't done everything, but this was his first big main season with the Celtics, and securing that, after starting the season with a 2-way deal, securing that upgrade to the parent roster full time. Gonna see how many minutes he plays at the beginning of the season with Kristaps out, and if he could just make his way towards a starting role, presumably in the future when Al Horford decides to hang it up. Now, that's going to be a spot that's very important for us after in the year's future. who is going to fill in that spot for Al Horford. Now, we're going to look at his stats right now, and honestly, yeah, he had a good season in the minutes that he played. Didn't take a three-pointer. Still 25 years old as well. Averaged 5.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, an assist, a block, and sometimes a steal. One of those great big men defenders that really showed to like the old times in the NBA. That's the best way I can describe Nimi. He's very much an old-fashioned type big man that's going to get you boards, be a force in the paint, get great stops. And that's why I think that's the force that a Celtics team kind of needs sometimes. Like, it's great to have all these great three-point shooters that can, but you need someone that can bang down low. And I know during the offseason, we're thinking about getting a couple, of those type of big men to spell Kristaps and to make sure Kristaps is healthy going into the postseason. Because that's the most important thing. We want our players to be healthy going into this postseason because we already know that we're going to be one of those playoff teams. I think that's very much a given with all the projections coming out where the Celtics may land or may fall. But the biggest thing is, in the offseason, in the postseason, you want to be the healthiest that you can be because that's the biggest thing. Availability is the best availability is the best availability. Like, we know if they are available that they have a great chance to win. Now, Nimi, still young. This last year was his first season with the actual Celtics team, so I definitely could see him, upgrading more. In Summer League, he did a great job too. He played a couple games during Summer League and then was shut down. Now, bringing up the last player that I wanted to talk about with you guys today. The last player that I want to talk about with you guys today is Jaden Springer. Now, Springer traded from the Sixers. I definitely think he's a great player. He has a lot of potential. Now, we didn't see a lot of it last year because he didn't play a lot. But I definitely think he has some untapped potential. Still 21 years old. His defense is off the charts, man. I can't even tell you guys how much of a great defender he is. But if he just improves his offensive game just a little bit, I definitely could see him getting some big-time minutes. If it's not for us, it's definitely for another team. He's one of those defenders that's scrappy, fights for loose balls, everything. He's very on-ball defender that a lot of teams would love to have. Now, last year, he only averaged 3 points per game, 1.6 rebounds, an assist, and sometimes a steal. Shot 39% field goal and 20% from three. That's the thing that is questionable is his offensive game. Now, while he's a great defender, if you can't play offense in this league, we already know you can't play. Like, you can't get minutes because a lot of defenses currently in the league, they just sag off type of some players. They just leave them open, but they basically just hold you in to make sure that player is a non-factor. And that's what it looked like with Jaden Springer on the court at times last year, is that he just was a non-factor. I remember I watched his first game last year against the Milwaukee Bucks, and I was just watching the game as a casual fan, and I was seeing him. He was a great defender, but on offensive end, it was just hard for him to score. And I think in the Summer League, he had a couple great games. I just want to see if he can just improve and get better to a point where I know he's going to be able to play at a full-length level, like on both sides of the ball. If he can just improve and show that he has improved this summer on the offensive end, I definitely think he's going to deserve some play time this year as the 10th man. I personally think that the 10th man this year is going to be Xavier Tillman, just because of his great defensive ability, what he can bring to rebounding. He's a great rebounder as well, and his offensive upside that he did show in the postseason by hitting a couple threes and just showing that if he's not, he's willing to take it. The problem with Neemias is that he's a great athletic big man, but I don't see him projecting well with the lineup at certain times. Maybe he's a player that you play for a couple minutes during the season, but I don't see him projecting into that starting role or 10th man role if a player like Al Horford and Kristaps were both out at the same time. I just see you would play Xavier Tillman, you would play a more small ball type lineup, just because he's one of those players he's able to get you rebounds, he's able to play defense, and he's able to take the shots when he's comfortable taking them. If he's wide open, he's gonna take it. He has that much trust in his game. Now, I wonder what you guys are thinking. I want to know your thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know who you guys think. I'm your host, Godfrey Sympre. This is another episode of Celtics Digest, and see you guys.